in a field where they get certifiable skills.
Students can save time and money while earning a bachelor's degree right here at the University Center.
We're here to walk students every step of the way, from applications to scholarships to course selection.
And then go further beyond that and take master level classes.
It's a brand new Wayne County Community College district.
We're here to stay.
Watch WHPR and TV 33 when you want, where you want, how you want. WHPR is now in your pocket. Download our free app by going to the App Store or Google Play and enter WHPR TV in the search engine. And there we are. You can download WHPR TV or radio. You heard about it. Now come be a part of it. Roku Detroit Worldwide. Approximately 8 million viewers. You're watching W33BY, Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of W33BY, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Law Power Hour. Over the last several months, I've stressed the importance of being part of the city of Detroit. And part of that commitment is getting involved or getting engaged in the city of Detroit. Today, I have the pleasure of having two guests who are engaged in the city of Detroit. Both of them are entrepreneurs who've started businesses in Detroit, and it's exciting and it's challenging because even as they sit here today, they run the risk that the very sites that they've launched their businesses from may get caught up in this whirlwind of change that's going on in the city and force them to find new locations. On my left, and I had to look to my left hand because I get confused, is Jacqueline Terry. Jacqueline Terry has the Style Gallery on Livernois, and on my right is Christopher Prather, who has Thrift on the Avenue, on Cass Avenue. Thank you both for coming today.
Pleasure. Thank you for inviting us.
Jackie, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Well, we are located at 19458 Livernois. We have been in business about 15 years now. We started on Lothrop in the New Center area. We specialize in unique clothing. I am a designer, and I have several other designers that work with me, and we do custom clothing. We have a line that we feature in our store. And we also do repurposing anything that typically people have. Our motto is never throw it away, bring it to us.
Well, if you're going to get rid of it, this is where you go.
We're a match made in heaven.
Right.
Sounds like it. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, Thrift on the Avenue is the embodiment of a philosophy that we have, that looking fabulous doesn't have to break the bank. And being born to a small family of 14, we thrifted as a way of life. And so my mother, God rest her soul, will probably is getting a good laugh that what we hated as a kid, I now do for a living. But the reality of it is the economic times being as they are, people still want to look nice, but may not always have the resources to do so. And so we started Thrift on the Avenue as a passion project for us, one, but in a way that we can also give back to our community as well.
Now, in your store, you carry both vintage and thrift.
Correct.
Now, when I talk about vintage, why don't you tell the audience what you're talking about as vintage?
Certainly. So most times when you hear vintage dealers, they deal more in period pieces. So you have vintage dealers that will specialize in 60s and 70s and 80s clothing. We have some vintage pieces in the store that we have found along our travels. And then we also have some resale items that we go out and source from other thrift shops, other resale shops. I'm always on my wife to pull some stuff out of her closet just to make some room. So it's a meritage of that. And then we also do some consignment and buying as well.
Now, in your store, you talked about repurposing. Would you tell our audience exactly what you do in terms of repurposing? I understand what it is, but I don't know if everybody in this room understands what it is.
Well, basically, for example, I would say jeans that you have. We have taken your old Levi's and turned them into a maxi coat. We have turned them into hats. We have turned it into several different things. So we will take one thing and repurpose it into another. So it will go from jeans to a coat.
You mean you could take my jeans and turn them into a skirt?
I can. Yes, I
And
can.
that's kind of neat, isn't it? You
Yes.
could put patches on them.
Yes.
If I had holes in them.
Yes.
And make them suitable.
Exactly.
Now we have the basic understanding about what you do with your styles and what you're doing with your product. I have to ask you both the same question. How'd you pick your location?
For me, I picked the location because of the history that the Avenue of Fashion had. I just kind of had a little birdie that told me that this is getting ready to come back, and originally had been basically a avenue for a destination for people to come to get unique items and to find boutiques like myself. So when we kind of got that information, we checked into it, and that's where we found it to be lucrative.
So you selected that because of the historical basis, is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, sir.
And you're confronted with some unique issues today, aren't you?
Yes,
One of them, as I pointed out to you off the air, was the fact that there are a lot of people moving in to Sherwood Forest and Palmer Park, which are neighborhoods in the University District, all adjacent to where your shop is. Isn't that true?
that is true, yes.
Is that challenging today because of the possibility that boutiques from the large malls and boutiques from Birmingham or West Bloomfield might decide to venture back into the area
Yes.
and create competition?
Yes, it is. Typically, you've seen that where when the face of the neighborhood changes, typically the businesses around it do as well. And being a small-owned business, we are faced with the possibility of a Starbucks or Panera Bread or Forever 21 wanting to come and set up on Livernois and being priced out of even being able to do business on Livernois.
Now, are you faced with those challenges on Cass?
Oh my gosh, I think if you have a fear on Livernois, I am probably in the most gentrified stretch of land in the country right now, in Midtown. And we have $1 billion stadium being developed 4 or 5 blocks from us. So whereas I'm appreciative of where we are now, there is an underlying thought that we have to make some adjustments to our model and our business plan to make sure that we aren't priced out, because that's just inevitable as the neighborhoods around us between downtown and New Center and Midtown begin to grow and develop. There's an expectation that the rents are going to rise.
Well, are you also, on the other hand, drawing a benefit because there are people who are buying these lofts and these condominiums down there for anywhere from $180,000 to $350,000 in a better position to spend money in your store.
Well, that's the thought on paper, and the idea is okay. You get more people. I think Midtown boasts of about 95% occupancy, so most of the available units for sale or lease in Midtown are occupied. So we have seen a spike in our business as Midtown has began its resurgence, but there is still an understanding that because our landlord runs a business that that our rates could continue to grow, and if our revenues aren't growing with our cost of business, then we would have to look elsewhere.
Now, how did you select the name for your business?
I was, like I said, born to a small family of 14, and we thrifted as a way of life. So I always hated going to the thrift store when I was a kid. It was dark, and it was smelly, and it was so crowded. And so we built a business that was going to be the antithesis of our experience when we were a kid. And so you'll always find our store is very well lit. It's always well organized. We spend a crap ton of money on air freshener to make sure it's always fresh in there. So we took a page out of a big box retailer, and so we kind of, I don't know if it's legal now, but we kind of bit off the name Saks Fifth Avenue, and so Thrift on the Avenue was born out of that.
And is that a registered trademark?
It's a registered trademark, correct?
Do you have a website?
Absolutely.
Do you show your clothes on the website?
They're not available now, but they'll be available in the next month.
Now, your business. Yes. How did you select your name?
The Style Gallery was I've always been a person that loved museums and galleries and art, and because of what we do, we always call our clothing wearable art. We coined the name the Style Gallery after basically a setting of a gallery, but the main focus not necessarily being art in this perspective, but our clothing as a centerpiece being art.
Now, when you sell wearable art, your customers understand that the items are unique.
Yes.
So if they go out to dinner, they're not going to see a half a dozen individuals wearing the same item, are they?
No. We definitely, we do one-of-a-kind pieces.
And you're not going to run into the risk of these mega merchandising retailers. I can't mention any names on the air, you understand?
Yes.
We're going to go out and copy your unique designs, are you?
No, sir, you won't.
Do you trademark and patent your designs?
We don't trademark our designs, but that is definitely something that we are talking to some lawyers about right now.
Are you online?
Yes, we are.
Do you show your fashions online?
We do, yes.
And how would I find you if I wanted to go online?
You would go to www.shopthestylegallery.com.
What am I going to find there?
You will find accessories. You will find some of our sale pieces. There is a section on our website that has just designs that I myself have made and some ready-to-wear other pieces as well.
Do you have works in progress on design so people can come in and say, I'd like to try this out. Could you finish this concept for me?
Absolutely, yes.
Your educational background, you're a design major, aren't you?
Yes, I graduated from Wayne State in fashion design and merchandising.
And when you graduated, you go out and set up your own shop right away, or what did you do?
I actually, in my junior year of college, started the Style Gallery. So simultaneously when I was in college, I started small, but I did start right along. So I would go to school during the day, and in the afternoons and at night I would work my store.
So you had the store on Livernois then?
No, I was actually on Lothrop at that time.
Okay. Behind the Fisher
Building, yes.
I think that's what they still call it.
Yes.
Okay, so when you were on Lothrop and you had your business over there, it was just you and a sewing machine and some ideas, or what was it?
It was just me, my mom, and a sewing machine.
And tell me, where'd you learn to sew?
My mother. Yeah, she tried. Well, when I was younger, that was something that she almost forced on me. I was not interested at all in it. But my grandmother and her mother before that, they were all designers and sewers. So I did learn the basic skills when I was a child. And I got more interested in it as I grew up, and or I didn't find a lot of pieces that I wanted, and I would always have ideas. So my mother told me to pull those old skills out and start, and that's what I did.
We're going to take a break for a moment. When we come back, we're going to talk about how to plan a business, what you have to do to get into business. All the nuts and bolts I want all of you to listen to today, because you can start your own business if you're really interested in getting engaged in the community, because there are lots of areas that are not developed in Detroit that need developing.
Are you in legal trouble? Are you in need of legal advice? Or just have general legal questions? Watch Law Power Hour and get your questions answered by experienced attorneys who are experts in their field. Know your rights. Watch Law Power Hour, hosted by Barry Keller, attorney at law, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. here on WHPR, Detroit Live.
You know, off the air, I was talking to you about starting a business, and there are a lot of little things, but they're all very important things that you have to do when you start your business. For example, did you have to get a license to start your business?
Yes. It's funny that in Detroit, resale, unlike retail, is a prohibited business. So you have to file for a change of use. So one of the reasons that we are in Midtown and not on Livernois is the particular place that we started, and of course we learned this in hindsight, was not zoned for resale. And so we had to file for a change of use with the city in order for us to operate our business as a retail.
Did you need a buy-sell license for your business because of the nature of the business that you're in?
Not specifically, because we call ourselves Thrift on the Avenue, but thrift legitimately means that you are a strictly non-for-profit, which means people donate clothes to you, you sell them, and you support a non-profit business. So we're Thrift in name only. We do have a relationship with the Coalition of Temporary Shelters where people can donate to us under our consignment for COTS, and a portion of those proceeds go back to benefit COTS. But we are a for-profit business, so we source clothes and then we resell them, which doesn't require us to have any special licenses.
Okay, it's an interesting issue. Now, in your business, did you need a license for your business?
Well, we registered with tax ID, and we also registered with the state of Michigan as well in the city.
So in terms of the EIN,
Yes.
you need an employer identification number to be in business,
Yes,
and that's through the federal government, correct?
exactly,
Did
yes.
you take care of all those things yourself?
I did. Yes, I did.
Did you need anybody to assist you or guide you in doing it?
I did.
Who did you rely upon?
Well, one of my clients is a lawyer, so I did ask her, and she gave me the ins and outs of how to fill out paperwork. But there are websites, I believe it was maybe LegalZoom that we went to back then, and did a larger amount of the paperwork that we had to get done.
So did you go to LegalZoom to determine the structure of your business?
I did.
And you said, I believe, an S corporation.
Yes.
An S corporation is a small business corporation where things pass through to you,
Yes,
but it's operated as a corporation, correct?
exactly. That's exactly right.
Okay. Did you review your own lease?
I did. I have had several leases, though. Well, not several. I've had two. But the first one, I reviewed it myself, which turned out to be a big mistake. I should have had a lawyer review it for me because there's a lot of verbiage that I did not understand, which I should have before I signed it. And in hindsight, like I said, I should have. But now, the one that I have now, yes, I did have a attorney review it before I signed
How
it.
about you? Did you seek out the services of a lawyer when you had a lease?
I did not, and this was not my first business, so I had some experience in it before. But definitely, I've heard some horror stories where people have not sought out legal counsel in the execution of their lease. And so, if there's anyone that's considering opening up a brick and mortar, their lease is going to be bedrock. I mean, legitimately fundamental and the growth of your business. So, I would definitely advise legal counsel for negotiating your lease.
Now, if any of you listeners are interested in starting a business, you want to ask some questions, call in today, because we're here to talk about starting a small business. Rule number one, you must have somebody who is a professional, a lawyer in real estate law, review your lease. Would everybody agree with that principle?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I do.
Because if you have a successful business, you don't want your landlord running you out the door and setting up shop in your location. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Rule number two, should you register your name?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because if we are deemed to be successful, if we don't register, nothing stops a copycat business from starting up and pilfering business off of us based on our name.
Now, the Style Gallery,
Yes.
is that a common generic name that you'd find in a lot of different cities across the country?
No, you would not. You wouldn't see it commonly. There is more than one, but they don't do what we do.
Did you register a trademark with the Style Gallery?
No, we did not. We did not.
How are you protecting your name?
Like I said, we are in the process of doing it now. There has to be a few tweaks to it, but we are in the process of trademarking it.
Okay, because I know if I Googled up Style Gallery, I'd come up with a lot of different locations.
Yes.
So when you say you have to tweak it, you have to add something to it
Yes.
so it's unique and special.
Exactly.
So rule number two is make sure that your business has an identity,
Yes.
separate and distinct. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
It's got to be separate and distinct from everyone else's identity.
Exactly.
What about your telephone number? Do you have a gimmick number for your business?
I do. Our initials for TSG are the last 3 digits of our number.
And what about yours?
No, in the past I have one, but not this time. It was just to get a phone number and get started.
Right.
And incidentally, I have a number, Law USA 1, that I've had for 30 years, which is one of my telephone numbers. So if you dial 1-800 Law USA 1, you reach me. So I did pay attention to that.
Okay.
In terms of a web design, did you participate in designing your website?
I did participate in it. I am not a web designer, so I did hire someone to do it for me. I was just instrumental in as far as like bringing back, once they did it, brought it back to see what I thought. But I definitely hired someone that was a professional in it.
That can be a very expensive proposition, can it?
It can, yes.
I know that you can go online and Google will help you, and that's a generic term, Google. I'm not advertising, but it's a generic term. They'll help you design a website, won't they?
They will. There's several websites, Wix.com and a couple of others that basically are a la carte sites where you can go in and pretty much click, drag and drop to start to do your own, from anywhere from basic to a retail store.
Now, in
online.
terms of your business, you're in the process of building a website at the present time, correct?
Correct.
Are you building that yourself?
I am.
Now, you've had some experience in the past with businesses, haven't you?
I have, but not in building a website. I got a couple of quotes, and when I saw what the quotes came back, I said, well, I guess I'm going to learn how to be a website builder. And so I went to Wix, and it really is dry. It's I'm not the smartest guy in the world by any stretch of the imagination, so it really is drop and drag and put it together. But I tell you what, I did learn about websites. My thought was that I would drop some pictures in, drop some language in there, and people would come to the website en masse, and they didn't. What I realized is that your website has to be optimized, and we throw this term around Google around, but it really is a phenomenal resource, particularly when you are a business owner. You don't have a lot of money. You can do some exploratory findings online to walk you through it, and so there are websites that you can put your URL in, and they will show you where your website needs to improve on certain keywords that you need to use. And so that was very instrumental in us getting started, because we just thought that you put on www and the floodgates will open. But that was very, very important for us.
So when you started your business, did you have a business plan?
I did, yes.
And did you have a business plan?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to explain, each of you, in your own words, what a business plan is? I'll start with you first, Jackie.
Basically, a business plan is a plan of how you plan, or is a plan of how you seek to operate a business, from mission statements to projections to location to projected costs. And when we started, I had not started my business yet, so everything was pretty much something that, like a educated guess.
We got a caller in here for a second. Good afternoon. Hello?
Yes, hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. I got a number for Primetime TV. I was trying to get in touch with the host of Most Wanted.
Well, you got us, and we're talking about setting up new businesses. So,
Pardon me?
we're sorry we can't help you.
Is this the wrong number?
Yes, sir. Okay, so you had this business plan,
Yes.
and you put it down on paper?
Yes.
Did you review it with anyone?
I did. We went to the SBA to basically get some advice on how to do it. We did revise it several times after we did an initial one.
Okay, we're going to talk about the SBA after our break, and after I ask you questions
Certainly.
before the break about your business plan. Did you set up a business plan?
Yes, we wrote our business plan.
I mean, you just didn't paint on the window that, we have vintage clothes and thrift clothes and put a bunch of hangers and racks in there, did you?
What's funny is when you're writing your business plan, because you have this vision in your head, you see this finished product. But this business plan for us has been a roadmap from where we wanted to go, and we backed our way into it. It's funny looking back on it 3 years ago. Boy, we had lofty projections. But it's always good that we had some sort of historical data that we can kind of build and go from to let us know if we were doing well or what we need to improve on. And so it's been that for us as a roadmap. A lofty one, but a roadmap.
Well, we're going to take a break for a minute. We're going to come back and talk about the SBA and your relationship with the SBA.
Are you in legal trouble? Are you in need of legal advice? Or just have general legal questions? Watch Law Power Hour and get your questions answered by experienced attorneys who are experts in their field. Know your rights. Watch Law Power Hour, hosted by Barry Keller, attorney at law, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. here on WHPR. Detroit Live.
You know, we were talking about the SBA for a minute. Did the SBA assist you in what you were doing?
Yes, sir.
And the kind of assistance that the SBA gives is the kind of assistance that all of us should know about. If you want to start a new business, you can go down to Small Business Administration, correct?
Yes, you can.
And they'll give you some guidance in setting up a business.
Yes.
And they might even help you finance that business if you need assistance. Is that true?
That's correct.
Now, would you agree with me that that's a good starting place after you've come up with a business plan?
Absolutely.
Now, in terms of coming up with a business plan, we talked earlier when we were getting ready for the show about lots of folks, you know, have the greatest hot dog in the world or the greatest hamburgers, and they're going to open up a small restaurant. But, you know, most small restaurants, they've got to compete with the big entrepreneurs. Unless they've got a unique product, they're not going to survive. Now, it's really different to be in your business than running a restaurant, isn't it?
I would say so, yes.
I mean, it's a real challenge every day, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And just like your business.
Exactly, yes.
I mean, are you concerned about your location, whether you're going to be able to hold on to that location for the future?
I would say yes. That is always a concern when you don't own. When you lease, it's pretty much up to the owner of the building whether or not you will continue there or not.
In terms of having a design center,
Yes.
would you like to have your own design center where you had other artisans who design clothing come in and design?
Yes, I absolutely would. I actually am striving very hard to come up with a location where we can facilitate young entrepreneurs, young designers, where they will have a place where they can come design. Some that may want to come and acquire knowledge on designing and sewing, and then also have an outlet for them to sell their pieces and take the money from that and kind of put it back into what we're doing as far as like teaching them to sew and also entrepreneurship as well.
So are you indicating to me as part of your business plan you intend on developing a school and training?
Absolutely, yes.
And if I wanted to come in, for example, and learn how to sew,
Yes.
instead of going over to the fabric shop, I could come over to your place, learn how to sew,
Yes, absolutely. You can get a one-on-one from me.
and you're going to charge by the hour, but you'll teach.
Yes,
And you teach me how to repurpose clothes.
yes, I would. Yes, we would. We could have, there's really no limit on it. We've had children from 5, 6 years old all the way up to adults that have come to us seeking knowledge on sewing and repurposing as well.
And what's your hourly rate?
Right now, we charge $60, but it's negotiable depending on the circumstance.
Tell everyone where you're located, because it's really important for them to know where you are in Livernois.
It's on, the address is 19458. It is between Outer Drive and St. Martin.
And your business on Cass is exactly where?
We're at 4130 Cass Avenue, between Willis and Alexandria.
Now, there's a restaurant next door to you, isn't there?
It's a wonderful Spanish tapas restaurant called La Feria.
And I saw that recently, with the weather changing, out in front of your business, Bavaria, has put some tables out there.
Yes, you know what? When they first started, before we got there, they got there a couple of months before we did. The original architectural plan was to have seating up front, and after some negotiation between us, La Feria, and the building owner, we all mutually agreed that it would be good to have seating out front, show that the building has been alive and lively, and while customers are waiting for La Feria, they're always welcome to come in and browse and hopefully shop there from the avenue.
Now, in terms of choosing your location, if you had it to do over tomorrow, would you choose the location where you're at?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. For a launching point, you're always taught, whether it's in residential or business, it's location, location, location. And right now, I don't think we could have been in a better position in terms of a starting point than Midtown. So yes, I would absolutely do it over again.
Good afternoon.
I have a twofold question for your panel. To begin with, what do each of the individuals you have on your show believe would be is the best marketing for, let's say, a fashion retail business like theirs, an independent, but for someone who's at a small budget? What did they find was the best way to get themselves out there? And because I'm afraid my phone's going to die out, I'm going to ask my second question, and that would be, I didn't get their phone numbers or their websites, and if they could repeat that again on air so I can hear it again when I watch the repeat tonight, just in case I wanted to check out their stores and stuff. If they could do that, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so ours is Thrift on the Avenue. We're at 4130 Cass Avenue, Suite B. Our phone number is 313-649-7226, and our website, of course, is www.thriftontheave.com.
We are the Style Gallery, located at 19458 Livernois, between Outer Drive and St. Martin. Our phone number is 313-340-0874. Again, 313-340-0TSG. And our website is www.shopthestylegallery.com.
Now, answer the question.
So, if I'm not mistaken, her question was, having a small budget, what would be my advice on marketing?
That's correct.
Social media is definitely even now, 15 years later, social media is the best way to market yourself. It's free. And there is an audience there of millions of people that are on social media. It does take a bit of elbow grease as far as pictures and wording, but it can be done. And like I said, if you have the time and if you have more time and you have money, social media will definitely be the way to go. Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram. My nieces put me up on all of this stuff on Snapchat. Yes, sir. That's exactly what I was going to say. Snapchat. So many different avenues as far as social media that are available to you to advertise.
Mm-hmm.
How about from your point of view?
I 100% agree with Jackie. We have been students of social media. And so what's funny is that at the time our business came of age, Instagram was the new hot social media platform. So we have a smaller Facebook market, but a bigger Instagram market. But it bodes well for our business because we're visual, and so we post several times a day. And again, you can do some research about the best times to post for your business. Our first post is going to be at 6:30 in the morning time. We want the first thing to do, people do when they wake up in the morning time, is roll and grab that phone, is to see something about Thrift on the Avenue. So do your homework, do your research. But in terms of, there's a non-existent advertising marketing budget for small businesses. So social media would be a very, very good place to start for marketing your business.
I have this really important question to ask you about pricing merchandise.
Okay.
When I go into a vintage store and I look at different items and you've tagged the items, how do you set the price?
Well, you have to know your market, number one. So on the vintage side of things, people tend to pay more, and then you get on the resale side. But more than anything, I'm not in love with anything in my store so much. I want to keep it to myself. So we want to turn over merchandise. So we want to price it at a point that the market was willing to pay for it, and we'll go out and buy something else.
Okay, I heard your voice go up an octave there. More than anything, you want to sell it. And I know you're in business to sell merchandise.
Certainly.
But the $64 question is, if I take your wonderful suit that you're wearing, and he's dressed to the nines, by the way, and so is she. If I want to buy your suit, is there a catalog that I could go to if I was in your business and come up with a range for a price that I could sell your suit for to a customer.
I wish it was that easy that we can just go. Certainly, you can do your homework online. You can check out a label and see how much that would retail for originally. You can look at what it sells for on eBay, and you got to find that happy medium. But I look at it for a suit, for instance. You can buy a brand new suit off the rack for as low as $99, and depending on the maker of the suit, the style of the suit, is how we start to determine, or some of the determining factors that we go into how we would price a garment. But at the end of the day, we want to make it so that it is appellant to the buyer, and so we want to make it so that it's hot to sell, so they can get out of the store and get something else.
Why, doesn't it require a certain level of research?
Oh yeah. Now, so listen, while we're shopping, we're hot on that phone. We got to make sure our phones are always charged up, because we check out a piece, and we're online looking at Etsy and eBay and Poshmark to find out what the market is bearing, and that's also going to determine how much we're going to put into a garment. If I find something for $5, but I see it's going to sell for $100, then that's a no-brainer.
I understand that.
Buy low, sell high.
I got that down. Now, in your business, we're dealing in unique designs. One piece, one person, another piece, another person. Do you factor in uniqueness as part of the cost of selling your merchandise?
Yes, we do. The uniqueness of it basically comes from each one of us being designers. So it's also fabric cost, time that goes into each garment, several other elements that go into pricing it. But like Chris said, it's price to sell. So we're not in love with it either to where we want to just keep it in here. So we do take all of those things into consideration, but we definitely price it to sell.
Well, I always wondered if you sat down and calculated a number of labor hours.
Yes.
And like if you're making a skirt, for example, and it's repurposing that skirt from a pair of jeans, you sit down and say, well, that's going to take X number of hours?
Absolutely, we do.
Okay,
Yes, we
and
do.
And then you establish a price accordingly.
Yes, we do. Yeah. So there is like a base that we go by as far as how much an item would cost per hour for us to make it. So we do try and get it, get an item, make it within a certain range of time so that we can move on to the next piece. But yes, we do price it based on the time it would take for us to make. So something that was more labor intensive would definitely cost more money.
What are the hours of your business and the days that you're open?
We are open Tuesday through Friday from 12 noon until 6:30, and Saturdays from 11 a.m. until 6:30.
And how about your business?
We're open Monday through Friday, 11 to 7 p.m. And Monday through Thursday, 11 to 7. Friday and Saturday, we stay up until 8 p.m.
So you're closed on Sunday?
Yes.
Sabbath through rest.
Yes, we do.
Okay, we're going to take a break for a minute. We're going to come back, and I invite you to call in, ask some questions about entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Are you in legal trouble? Are you in need of legal advice? Or just have general legal questions? Watch Law Power Hour and get your questions answered by experienced attorneys who are experts in their field. Know your rights. Watch Law Power Hour, hosted by Barry Keller, attorney at law, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. here on WHPR. Detroit Live.
You know, people always ask me a question. Would you be practicing law today if you knew as much today as you did when you first started? So the real question is, would you be in the same business today that you're in if you had the opportunity to start all over? And I told you, sometimes I ask questions that are very pointed. If you love what you're doing and you want to be in it, or it's just a passing fad, that's the big question now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the business you're in?
I love it. I love what I do. It's a labor of love.
And it's been that way all your life, hasn't it?
It has,
It's
truly.
been a passion with you, hasn't it?
It has, yes.
So it's artistry and design, and it's going to be with you for the rest of your life, isn't it?
I hope it does, yes.
And what about you?
I love not just my business. I love what my business has provided me, and that's to interact with people. Unlike Jackie, who she hands make her clothes, so there's a part of her in everything that she does. We're just a conduit. So Thriftful Avenue has been for us a vehicle that we use to meet people like yourself and Jackie, and broaden and add value and depth to the community.
And do you think that's a real important factor when you start a business, knowing your own personality and the ability to assess what skills you bring to the business?
Absolutely.
Whether it's salesmanship, artistry skills, communication skills. Do you think it's important that we have to assess this in coming up the plan for the business?
It certainly makes it a lot easier when you are functioning in your natural God-given ability. It's not labor intensive. It's not work. So when I walk into the store every day, I'm being Kristen. So I'm just bringing Kristen to four walls, and it's not work for me.
We got a call here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I have another question. I called earlier, and finally I was able to switch phones. But I'm hearing all the time that the mayor of the city of Detroit is saying that Detroit's an incubator for new businesses and creative people, and both of you seem to fit that mold perfectly. I was just curious as to whether the city has any programs that you've been able to avail yourself of. Have they actually has supportive? They have been saying they are in the media, and I just wanted you to share, with us what's really going out there in the small business market for people who are, the citizens of Detroit.
Thank you.
Yes, they have been. I've actually just started working with TechTown, and they have their SWAT City program where they go into small businesses that have basically already started and help us basically not redevelop anything, but some of the things that we may be falling short on, help us at no cost to do, like our records and anything that we may need help with as far as like pricing and just basically reevaluating what we're doing. But that is a service provided by TechTown.
And who is TechTown? What is TechTown?
TechTown is a basically a facilitator of entrepreneurs. So they have services that range from financing to legal aid to different things like that. And they also have space in the Midtown area where you can go in and set up shops. They have a portion of TechTown that is specifically for designers, where they come in and they have there's a small fee, but there's a like sewing machines and space where you can come in where you may not necessarily have the money to buy that type of equipment, but you do have usage of it.
How about in your business? What
I
do you
think-
rely upon for support?
The city has been an amazing resource for us. But more than anything, instead of just direct help from the city, they've been a good resource to make us aware of programs that are available in the city, such as Revolve Detroit, which is now Motor City Match, Invest Detroit, 10,000 small businesses. And so if they're or if you are in need of business assistance, the city's website is an awesome resource for you to get some information about starting a business and also growing a business as well.
So the mayor is actually engaged in what's going on in terms of the redevelopment of businesses in the community.
I'd say so, yeah, absolutely.
Now, you're in two key areas of the city. Are there other areas that both of you believe are on the move towards redevelopment?
Oh yeah, I believe that if you follow the M1 route, the Woodward corridor is going to continue to grow and develop and expand. If you look at the Gratiot outside the Eastern Market headed back east, that's probably going to be another area that's going to continue to grow and develop. You already have the small pocket in the East English Village and Indian Village area right there at what is that, Van Dyke and that area there. So in terms of, finding the proper spot for your business, depending on what your business is, Livernois, Midtown, and that East Corridor is going to be a good place to start.
Now, I heard you state that you work with not-for-profit organizations at the present time, correct?
That's correct.
And would you invite other not-for-profit organizations to form a strategic alliance with you? In other words, let's say I had a church or a synagogue, for example, and I was not-for-profit. Would you like to develop those alliances?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you tell people how they can get a hold of you to talk about
Yeah, certainly. You can reach out to me at Thrift on the Avenue. Our phone number is 313-649-7226, or our website, www.thriftontheave.com.
Do you think you're in a better position to market products, clothing, shoes, handbags, and suitcases at your location than, say, a person is when they have a rummage sale at a synagogue or a church?
It all depends. I guess here's certainly been the upside is that Midtown, where we have been blessed to be located, is probably the most walkable stretch of real estate in the city of Detroit. So you actually can park your car and walk more than a block. And so we do benefit from the foot traffic that is generated by Shinola and Willie's and some of our other businesses that are around us. And so being in there as opposed to having a one-off with a church having a one sale maybe once a month or once a quarter, being in a cluster of businesses has boded well for us.
So we invite organizations to contact your business.
Absolutely.
Give us the number again.
Yep, it's Thrift on the Avenue, 313-649-7226. And again, our website is www.thriftontheavenue.com.
Now, in terms of your business,
Yes.
there are a lot of areas of the city where they could use people who are doing a lot of the same work that you're doing. Would you agree with me?
Yes, I do agree.
And what areas do you think are coming back strong?
As far as like locations,
Yes.
Rosemont, what is it? The
Grandmont Rosedale.
Grandmont Rosedale is another location that is on the rise of coming back. I know a couple of different entrepreneurs that have started pop-ups over there, and seemingly it has been pretty lucrative for them as well. But the places that Chris mentioned, Midtown, Livernois, Grandmont Rosedale, and Gratiot are also some spaces too. I know there are several others that will probably come back. I mean, it's just about being able to kind of wait that out.
And if you had the opportunity to work with organizations where you could set up a training program in the facility, for example, in a church or a synagogue in the area, if you could set up a sewing program where you could teach there, charge by the hour, but teach, educate individuals in the skills necessary to carry out repurposing and repairing, would you do that?
Absolutely, I would. Absolutely.
And do you think that would be important to the community?
I think that is very important to the community. Like I said, especially our younger generation that are kind of in a position where they're trying to find skills. And I have been a witness bearer to know that sewing and tailoring is not a all-time premium right now. I have several people that can't find someone to make your wedding dress, someone that can't, you can't find someone to make your prom dress, someone to make a birthday outfit for you, that I can pull a picture out of a magazine and bring it to you and you make this come to life. Prom season is always busy, which is the season that we're in now, wedding season as well. What if we had a facility where there are young people that could basically capitalize on that and bring that in as a skill?
I want to thank you both for coming. There's 2 winners in Detroit. 2 winners, and we need more like them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.